Hey everybody, this is Alan Hinds, and I'm here to talk about Ramp's Letter. It's another progression that they sent me to solo over. And the first thing, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on in this song. And if you have a good ear, you can kind of just stay in G tonality and switch around from minor to major, you know, if you use your ear. Because really the chords are just going G to E flat. Now, if we were to dissect it from theoretical thing, I'm playing G major Ionian on the G chord, and when it goes to E flat, well, E flat is not really in the key of G major, as you know, so I'm thinking E flat Lydian, and E flat Lydian means as the 4 chord from the key of B flat, and B flat's relative minor is G minor. So you can do stuff like playing all your cool licks in G major, you know? All your cool licks. And then when it goes to E flat, just shift and play G minor. That works beautifully on that, especially if you just want to capture a bluesy feel. Sometimes in playing situations, when you have a choice of doing the bluesy stuff or really playing the modal stuff, sometimes I might start off playing, you know, trying to be melodic, and then I'll get into the scale stuff more, and usually by the end of the solo, I'll bring it back home with some blues stuff, because that always kind of brings things around. My point being, an example would be like playing G major on the G chord, of course. Like the whole Lydian gamut there on E flat. Or I might go towards the end, I might go, and I might for the, sounds really good to end up in things back home. And then for a second there it goes to D, like a D sus. So that's a 5 chord that gets back to G, right? So I can either go back to the key of G, I can play D mixolydian, which is the key of G, emphasizing the sus4 in D. Or a couple times, I think on the pass I did, I kind of altered that a little bit, which is another example of how on any 5 chord that resolves, you can take it out and play some flat 9s whether the keyboards are playing it or not. Boop, boop, right? And then on the second part of the song, the second half of this progression, it starts changing the chords faster. So it's like, again, E flat Lydian, Then it goes to B flat, which if it's E flat Lydian, that means it's B flat major. So you're the same scale there. Then D sus. And then it goes up a half step back to E flat, which once again, you have your choice. E flat Lydian or G minor blues or G minor, natural minor, and then back to Z. It goes to C for a second. And there, let's see, because it's kind of not really a lot of extensions outlined to chord to give it a lot of definition, you can either think, because we're in the key of G, remember, basically, you could think a major 7. Or if I want to do a little bluesy, I could play like a bluesy Mixolydian sound. Then back to D7, which is just, of course, the 5 chord of G. And that's pretty much the whole song. But, you know, players who are a little more seasoned, a little more experienced, well, I shouldn't say that. Any player with good ears can kind of get around this whole progression by just staying in one key and emphasizing the major thirds or the minor thirds. You know, I can go. Right? And then when it even goes to the D chord, back to G. So there you go. 2 ways to approach it. Using your ear, just shifting modes from G major to G minor, pretty much, or going mode for mode, which just gives you a little bit more variety in sound. Cool.